to you. It's just a good day and a good life 'cause of a good guy who's good all the time.
Hello everyone, I'm Sama and welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial was requested by Erilyn Sarakai. Today we'll be learning how to make a very simple music video using Alight Motion and CapCut. So let's get started. For this tutorial, you'll need Alight Motion, your Zepeto character or characters on a green screen, an image or video background, and CapCut. One thing to note is that if you are not paying for Alight Motion, your final video will save with a watermark. If you're looking to avoid this or you don't want to use Alight Motion at all, please refer to my tutorial on how to make a Zepeto story, part 1 and 2, which will teach you how to create scenes in CapCut that you can use for your music video. The first thing I like to do is create a storyboard so I know exactly what shots to use for the music video. This step is completely optional and many creators do work without a storyboard. I like to have one, however, so I know how to frame my shots and I know which lyrics go with each scene. A storyboard can be as simple as a quick sketch or just writing out your vision in a notebook. Select the green button to start a new project. I'm doing 16 by 9, but you can do 9 by 16 if that's what you're used to. You can add anything to the page by selecting the green plus button, and we're going to select media. So from here you can choose whatever background, whatever video you'd like. This is also where you'll be able to select all of your green screen recordings as well. Once you've added your background, you'll want to select the background layer and a new window will pop up. We're going to select effects and then add effects, and from there we're going to select color and light, and on the color and light menu we're going to select exposure and gamma, which operates a little bit like contrast and brightness. I usually reduce the amount of gamma and I also give it a little bit of exposure. We're going to click add effect again and we're going to go back to color and light. This time we're going to add a gradient overlay on that image as well. So we'll just select that, and from there we're going to change the color a little bit of our background image. So for the top color, I'm going to make that like a gray, and then for the bottom color I'm going to make that white. You can play with the angles of colors, so you can kind of play around with lighting and shadow for that. And then we're going to actually scroll down once you have the right angle, and we're going to go and select the multiply layer from the blending mode menu. So we're going to select that, and then after that we're going to go to alpha and we're going to decrease the alpha. So we're going to move it to the right, and then that will kind of reduce the amount of color that's in the photo. The next step is to add props. You can use VecDZ for PNG images that you can add, or if you're looking for images at different angles, I really recommend using Zepeto's assets. So in order to do that, you want to make sure that you're following an invisible user. So the invisible user, you just want to type in invisible at the search bar and make sure that you follow them. After you follow the invisible user, you're going to go to the create button, and then you're going to go over to the camera. Make sure that you are on the default camera when you do so. And then from here, we're going to go and select a pose that has something that you want to use, like maybe a microphone or maybe a couch or some piece of furniture and so forth. So we'll go ahead and search for that right now. Once you found the pose that you want, you're going to want to select your character and make sure you change him over to invisible. And then from there, you will have just the microphone. And so from here, you can change the angle, you can rotate it around, and then you can take pictures of it at different angles. So that way you can have different shots that focus on different parts of the microphone instead of just one straight shot of the microphone. And then you can do this with other images as well. So whether you need TVs, couches, motorcycles, this can apply to anything from Zepeto. So that's just one tip that you can use, not just for your music videos, but also if you're doing Zepeto series as well. So now that we have our microphone prop, we're going to select the green plus button again, select media, and then we're going to go ahead and add our microphone to the page. And once we do that, we're going to follow the same steps as we did for the background layer. So we're going to select the layer, and then we're going to select effects, and then add effects. And from there, we're going to add the colors such as the gradient, the exposure gamma, and so forth. Now we're going to create the shadow for the microphone. So we're going to select the microphone layer. We're going to select the layer button and duplicate that layer. With the duplicated layer selected, we're going to go to the three dots at the top and select flip vertically. And then we're going to take that layer, go to the effects, select add effects, and then from there we're going to go to the color and light option, where we're actually going to make this a completely solid color. So from there you can select whichever color you like. I'm going to select black, and then we're also going to add a blur effect by going to the blur option and then going to Gaussian blur. Now if you just wanted a simple reflection, all you would need to do is just have the duplicated layer and then lower the opacity. And we do that by going to the blending and opacity option and then just lowering it. So that's if you just want a reflection with no solid color. And then we'll place that right underneath the microphone. So for this next step, it's completely optional, but we're going to go to the move and transform option on the shadow layer. And I like to play around with the rotation, the scale, and the skew to get my microphone to lay flat on the floor, or my shadow to lay flat on the floor. So I don't have any specific settings for these. I usually just play around with them until it looks right. So that would be my advice, is just play around with all three of those until it looks right. And then I'll end up duplicating this layer because I'm going to have two light sources. So that means I would have two shadows. So now I've added my character on a green screen, again using the green plus sign on Alight Motion to do so. And now I'm going to add in a second microphone. I tend to duplicate my scenes all throughout Alight Motion so that way I can have different angles of the same room. What I usually do if I do not have multiple angles of the same room from an image, I'll usually just reposition the image in Alight Motion at different points so it doesn't look like, you know, it's the same image repeated over and over and over again. So now we're going to click the character layer, we're going to click add effects, we're going to go to mask key, and we're going to select chroma key. And then we're going to select standard settings. And from there, you just want to adjust the threshold until the green disappears. You can also use the little eyedropper tool to make sure you're selecting the right color, but just keep increasing the threshold until the green disappears, not until your character disappears. Be careful with that as well, because sometimes parts of your character might disappear, so be careful not to take that too far. Now we're going to go to color and light, select gradient overlay and standard settings. We're going to do the same thing that we did for the background and the microphone. We're going to select 2 different colors. I'm going to go again for like a light gray and a black. And again, we're going to go down to the blending mode, select multiply, and then make sure that you decrease alpha so that way it doesn't look too dark. Then we're going to go over to color and light again, and we're going to select exposure gamma, again operating just like brightness and contrast. Select standard settings, and then just decrease the gamma a little bit, increase the exposure a little bit. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to see the final result as well as check out other tutorials, you can reference these links over here. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. I will be more than happy to help you in any way that I can. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.